In the amen, truth takes its stand with faith and love, hand in hand.
Now the Lord was gracious to Sarah as he had said, and she bore a son to Abraham in his old age. Abraham gave the name Isaac to the son Sarah bore him, and circumcised him as God commanded. Sarah said, God has brought me laughter, and everyone who hears will laugh with me. At Isaac's weaning feast, Sarah saw the son of Hagar mocking, and she said to Abraham, Send that slave woman and her son away. The matter distressed Abraham greatly because it concerned his son. But God said to Abraham, Do not be distressed, I will make the son of the slave into a nation also. Early the next morning, Abraham gave Hagar food and water, and sent her with Ishmael into the desert. When the water was gone, she placed the boy under a bush and wept, unable to watch him die. God heard the boy crying, and the angel of God called to Hagar from heaven, Do not be afraid, I will make him into a great nation. Then God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. She gave the boy a drink, and they lived in the desert. God tested Abraham and said, Take your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, sacrifice him as a burnt offering. Early the next morning, Abraham set out with Isaac and 2 servants toward the place God had told him. On the 3rd day, Abraham looked up and saw the place in the distance. Isaac asked, The fire and wood are here, but where is the lamb? Abraham replied, God himself will provide. Abraham built an altar, arranged the wood, bound his son Isaac, and laid him on top. Abraham built an altar, arranged the wood, bound his son Isaac, and laid him on top. Abraham, Abraham, do not lay a hand on the boy, for now God knew Abraham feared him. Abraham looked up and saw a ram caught by its horns in a thicket and sacrificed it instead. Abraham called that place, The Lord will provide. And God reaffirmed his promise to bless all nations through him. Sarah lived to be 127 years old. She died at Kiriath Arba, and Abraham mourned and wept for her. Abraham rose and asked the Hittites to sell him a burial site so he could bury his wife. They offered the land freely, but Abraham insisted on paying the full price. Abraham purchased the cave of Machpelah, and there he buried Sarah. Abraham, now old, asked his chief servant to swear an oath, not to take a wife for Isaac from the Canaanites, but to go to his homeland to find her. The servant placed his hand under Abraham's thigh and swore to carry out the mission. The servant set out with 10 camels loaded with gifts, traveling to Nahor's town in Mesopotamia. He stopped by a well outside the city at evening, the time when women came to draw water. The servant prayed, Lord, let the woman who offers water to me and my camels be the one you have chosen for Isaac. Before he finished praying, Rebekah came out with a jar on her shoulder. She was very beautiful and kind. Rebekah gave him a drink, then drew water for all his camels, just as he had prayed. The servant gave her gold bracelets and asked whose daughter she was. She answered, I am the daughter of Bethuel, son of Nahor. Rebekah ran home, and her brother Laban welcomed the servant into their house. At the meal, the servant told the full story of his oath, his prayer, and how God answered through Rebekah. Laban and Bethuel said, This is from the Lord. Take Rebekah and go. They asked Rebekah, Will you go with this man? She replied, I will go. Rebekah set out with her maids, riding camels, following the servant back to Canaan. Isaac was out in the field meditating when he looked up and saw the camels approaching. Rebekah saw Isaac, veiled herself, and the servant told Isaac all that had happened. Isaac took her as his wife, and he loved her. Another famine struck, and Isaac went to Gerar, to Abimelech, king of the Philistines. The Lord appeared to Isaac and said, Do not go to Egypt. Stay here, and I will bless you as I did Abraham. Out of fear, Isaac claimed Rebekah was his sister, but Abimelech discovered the truth and rebuked him. Despite this, Isaac planted crops and reaped 100-fold, for the Lord blessed him. The Philistines envied him, filling up the wells dug by Abraham. Abimelech said, "Move away, for you are too powerful for us." Isaac reopened the wells, but quarreling broke out. So he moved again until he found room, naming the last well Rehoboth. Now the Lord has given us space. At Beersheba, the Lord appeared and repeated his covenant. "Do not fear, for I am with you." Abimelech came with his commander and sought peace. They made a treaty, and Isaac prepared a feast. That very day, Isaac's servants found water. He called it Sheba, and the town became Beersheba. When Isaac was old and his eyes were weak, he called Esau. "Go hunt game and prepare me a meal, so I may bless you before I die." Rebekah listened. She called Jacob. "Go, bring 2 young goats. I will prepare food for your father, and you will receive the blessing." Jacob hesitated. "My brother Esau is hairy, and I have smooth skin. What if father curses me?" But Rebekah said, "Let the curse fall on me." Rebekah dressed Jacob in Esau's best clothes and placed goat skins on his hands and neck. Jacob entered. "I am Esau, your firstborn." Isaac, doubtful, said, "Come near, that I may feel you." His hands were hairy, but the voice was Jacob's. After eating, Isaac blessed him. "May God give you heaven's dew, earth's richness, and nations serve you." Esau came back from hunting and prepared food. "Father, rise and eat." Isaac trembled greatly. "Who was it that came before you?" When Esau heard his father's words, he cried out bitterly, "Bless me too, my father." But Isaac said, "Your brother has taken your blessing." Isaac said, "You will live away from the earth's richness, and you will serve your brother. But when restless, you will throw off his yoke." Esau burned with hatred. "I will kill my brother after father dies." Rebekah heard and sent Jacob away to her brother Laban in Haran. Isaac called Jacob, blessed him, and commanded, "Do not marry a Canaanite woman. Go to Paddan Aram, to the house of Laban, and take a wife there." Esau saw that Isaac disliked Canaanite wives, so he married from Ishmael's family, trying to please his father. Jacob set out from Beersheba toward Haran. Alone, he stopped for the night, using a stone for a pillow. He dreamed of a stairway reaching from earth to heaven, with angels ascending and descending upon it. The Lord stood above it and said, "I am the God of Abraham and Isaac. The land on which you lie I will give to you and your descendants. I am with you and will watch over you." Jacob awoke trembling. "Surely the Lord is in this place. How awesome is this! This is the house of God, the gate of heaven." Early the next morning, Jacob took the stone he had used as a pillow, set it upright as a pillar, poured oil on it, and named the place Bethel. Jacob journeyed on and came to a well in the fields where flocks were gathered. A large stone covered the well's mouth. Rachel, daughter of Laban, arrived with her father's sheep. Jacob saw her and was moved at once. With great strength, Jacob rolled the stone from the well's mouth and watered Rachel's flock. Jacob kissed Rachel and wept aloud, telling her he was Rebekah's son. She ran to tell her father. Laban welcomed Jacob as family. Jacob stayed and worked for him. Jacob loved Rachel and offered to work 7 years for her hand in marriage. To him, the years seemed only a few days because of his love for her. But on the wedding night, Laban gave him Leah instead of Rachel. In the morning, Jacob discovered the trick. Jacob said to Laban, "Why have you deceived me?" Laban replied, "It is our custom to give the older daughter first. Work 7 more years, and Rachel will also be yours." Jacob agreed. After Leah's week was completed, he also married Rachel, whom he truly loved, though he had to serve 7 more years. Rachel, unable to bear children, cried to Jacob, "Give me children or I will die." Jacob became angry and said, "Am I in God's place, who has withheld children from you?" Rachel gave her maid Bilhah to Jacob, and Bilhah bore Dan and Naphtali. Rachel said, "I have wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed." Leah, seeing she had stopped bearing, gave her maid Zilpah to Jacob. Zilpah bore Gad and Asher. Reuben, Leah's son, found mandrakes in the field. Rachel asked for them. Leah replied, "Isn't it enough you've taken my husband? Now you want my son's mandrakes too?" Leah bore Issachar, Zebulun, and a daughter, Dinah. Then God remembered Rachel. She conceived and bore Joseph, saying, "That God has taken away my disgrace." Jacob asked Laban to let him return home. But Laban pleaded for him to stay, for the Lord had blessed him through Jacob. Jacob agreed, but asked for wages of speckled and spotted sheep and goats. Jacob skillfully bred the flocks, and he grew exceedingly prosperous with large herds, servants, and camels.